U.S. floor from silver to $70 to $300. I read an article all in between. Andy, what are your thoughts? I know you don't answer.
You know, I don't know.
How about this?
I can tell you, Bank of America says between 109 and or 130 and 309. You know, it's impossible.
I'm going to make it even easier for you. Do you think that there's a potential for gold to get back to 5,500 by year end?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's an opportunity for silver to get back to triple digits before year end?
I think so.
Yeah. Then that answers the question. I don't think that you need to go again. You can't get to 300 without getting to 100 first. So just get back to 100. I know that's how I look at things. And for me, I did the same thing when silver was at 20. I looked at it and said, wow, if I double, it's 40. And right now, if it doubles at 40, it goes to 80. And that's it. So, and right now, what? We're at $70.
It's up $70.
Yes. Yeah. The futures are there. So
What's silver up?
Silver's up 60 cents in the futures right now.
Okay.
So, and the spot market actually closed, I think it was roughly, we're at about 70 and a half. So we're still sitting about 50 cents higher on spot than we are in the futures market. So backwardation is still in effect.
Which is very unusual in the metal market. Very, very, very. Because
I mean, I have a seven-figure order that I'm looking to place, and I decided with my client that I don't know that the worst is in the metals. I don't. I think that we could get another kind of hit down. And I told him I don't really care.
I'd be surprised if we do. It seems to have kind of stabilized, but I don't want to jinx it.
I know. My thought is though, in the end game, since I'm not. I spoke to my brother about it and I said, man, this has just been a wild week, last 10 days. He goes, what does it matter? You're not selling it. You weren't selling at 120 silver. You weren't selling at 5,500 gold. What does it matter? It's a downturn. So he said, use it as an opportunity, which is what we've been doing. I mean, I got my delivery today, those 4 Eagles.
I didn't get mine, no.
Well, I told Matt, send them to me right away. Should have told him to send
them.
Well,
I was supposed to get it. I saw that, but it didn't come.
Yeah. And I got silver that I put at the facility. But I'm looking. I'm waiting. I'm buying another monster box. If we get down to where we were last night, I'm buying another monster box right away. And you know that I've been buying a lot lately.
Yep.
And again, the reason is I don't want to hold cash. I don't believe in it. I think that it's going to just continue to depreciate. And I think at the end of the day, if I look back a year from now, I have a very strong feeling we're going to see these numbers, and most people are going to say, should have taken advantage of it.
Way to go, Tattoo. You're impressing me today.
Yeah. John, I'm going to let you do it. That way I don't have to lean over and.
Oh, I'd love that.
Oh, how about a contest and two winners?
The only problem is Tattoo's getting knee surgery.
Yeah, but we could do it after, we could do it in, I'll be back probably August.
September golf.
Yeah, I mean, I have this Saturday.
What if we had to do it up in Minnesota too?
How about my club championship round this weekend? That was a pretty good turnaround.
That was.
We had our club championship this weekend, and I was not in good shape. I was knee was killing me, lower back was killing me, and I was down 3 with 4 holes to go. I won the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th to come back.
That's hardcore. You are a good golfer.
And I got to tell you, as much as it was fun, I felt really bad for Ron. I did. Ron, if you're watching, I'm sorry. It was brutal seeing that turnaround.
I would love to do that. I think that would be fantastic. You had a inflation number that's ticked up. You had a PPI number annualized at 0.7%. Multiply that times 12. You're almost at record inflation. You had the Fed chairman actually admit that we may actually have to raise rates if inflation gets out of control, not lower them. And that was all the market needed to, this theory, which it's really convenient that, the analysts, like there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, and the analyst said, this should be gold's time to shine, but it's not. And it's because rates are going higher. But they ignore the fact that for 2 years, as rates were climbing, gold was setting all-time highs. Mm-hmm. It's convenient for them to use it and to forget about it when it moves the other way. I guess we're supposed to believe that the inflation numbers we are told are real. And we are supposed to believe that the interest or rates on the 10-year Treasury going to 4.3%, which is a big move, are enough to derail people from buying gold. And the reality is the dollar was down 10% against a melting ice cube basket of the dollar index. Your real return, even at a 10% decline right now, would be -6% if we believe the numbers that come out of the CPI. I mean, the CPI and the BS, the BLS. We shouldn't believe it. They're not real. They're massaged. They exclude so many things, and the bottom line is that it gave cover to knock the price down tremendously, while at the same time we're seeing deliveries off the chart. I mean, off the chart around the globe. I want to probably going to have to put my glasses on to see. I took down some notes. By the way, it's interesting. Most of the notes that I have center around silver. I do have some on gold too, but when we talk about things that have happened since then, a lot of the people are focusing, I think, too much on the mainstream narrative. I do,
because that's what they're hearing.
Yeah, but they're focusing on it in the respect that, like, for example, there was an article that came out and said that the United States, our trade deficit has improved 3 out of the last 4 quarters, or 2 out of the last 3 months, rather. Excuse me, 2 out of the last 3 months, or 3 out of the last 4 months. It was all mainstream, was all over X, and it said that we are exporting gold, and it didn't make sense to me. And it basically said that the summation was that China was demanding gold for rare earths because our munitions were running low. And Michelle and she was asking me this on an interview and kind of caught me off guard with it. And I said, listen, it doesn't make sense to me. She was reading the story, and in the story, they talk about all this metal that's coming back from Venezuela in the form of doré. And I said to her, I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, Michelle, but I don't believe this is right. It sounds to me more like that doré is being sent to Switzerland for refining. It would show up on the import-export numbers the same way. The mainstream is saying gold has reached its peak. The U.S. is selling it to pay down its debt, et cetera, and frames it as gold is topped. And I said, that doesn't seem right to me. And she was mentioning the name of the company and was having a hard time mentioning it. It's called Trafigura. And Trafigura is the middleman between the Venezuelan export and the United States. And I'm not exactly sure what Trafigura is. It's some form of a big
conglomerate.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they do, so I shouldn't even try to guess. Okay. But anyways, I said,
pronounce it well.
She couldn't, and I said, listen, I don't think that this is right. I said, I think that this is it would show up the exact same way whether we were paying China for rare earths or sending doré for export. So anyways, we talked about it a bunch, and then I got an email a couple days ago, and it says, hi, Andy, I was watching your show with Michelle McCory, and you two were discussing where the gold doré was being sent. I heard Michelle mention Trafigura as being the middleman. And that kind of blew my mind because my son-in-law works for Trafigura. So I texted him, and he did verify the gold doré is going to Switzerland to be refined. So you were right on your hypothesis. And I sent her a very nice thank you for sending that. Now, this isn't mainstream credibility, but it is nonetheless supporting what I believe to be true. In any respect, if the mainstream can espouse that gold has reached its peak, that it was overbought, that the move towards higher interest rates or even rates that aren't being lowered would be enough impetus for gold to sell off this way,